everybody. It's the Weekly Planet's Caravan of Garbage. I'm Nick Mason.
I'm James, Mr. Sunday Movies.
And this is a little mini podcast where we are going to sift through the bargain bin of entertainment media and find some...
not so entertaining media.
In a way, that's exactly what we're going to do, yeah. So what I thought I'd do for this one is go back in time to one of DC's earlier forays into film. It's 1997's Steel.
Oh my god.
Featuring Shaquille O'Neal as in the titular role of John Henry Irons' Steel, the armoured superhero, the same year as Batman and Robin.
Right, of course. Do you know if this is first? Do you know if these are connected?
Well, here's the thing, they're not connected. I read a while back somebody was saying, well, this was intended to tie into the Nicolas Cage Superman movie.
Oh, right. So this would have come after Superman Lives, where Superman dies and then other Supermen appear?
Well, maybe, but the actual movie itself, when you watch it, it's clear that Superman and Batman are fictional characters in this universe. And at one point, we go to an arcade and there's a Batman Forever arcade game.
Okay.
And also Shaquille O'Neal has a Man of Steel Superman tattoo on his bicep.
Like John Bon Jovi.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Turk from Scrubs.
I mean, I assume that Shaquille O'Neal's S-shield is as large as Henry Cavill's, the one on his chest.
Sure.
Because he's a huge man. So for anybody who doesn't know, Shaquille O'Neal plays John Henry Irons.
Right.
And he's in the army, he's an engineer. He's a man who designs non-lethal weapons. Or at least he says he is. Like the first weapon we see him using is like a rifle, and it's got a laser that can cut through like tank treads. And then it's got a secondary barrel that can like shoot fireballs.
So this is non-lethal in the sense if you don't point it at a person, it might not kill them.
And even if you don't point it at a person,
that's
it might
more
kill
lethal
them.
than most guns.
Well, anyway, he's got that. So anyway, he's maybe he didn't build it because he's part of a 3-man team, right? So it's him. The second man is a lady called Sparky. She's the best friend, and she's also like the will they or won't they kind of romance. Spoiler alert. They won't, but it like there's so many moments where you're like, are they gonna get together? But they just never do.
Maybe they cut out that amazing subplot and we'll get the Steel Ultimate Edition extended
we can
cut.
only hope on the Blu-ray. But they do this. They don't high five like whenever something good happens. Like they test a weapon and it works. Like they blow those tank treads off with their non-lethal weapon and they're like, yeah, we did it. And they like touch fingers ET style.
That's weird.
Like
Good Lord.
And the third man on the team is. Spoiler alert, the villain is going to be the villain of the piece, and it's Judd Nelson.
Yes!
The bad boy of the Breakfast Club, Judd Nelson.
Is this a kids movie?
Certainly not good enough for adults. I don't know. But anyway, so they're at like this. They're at this like abandoned town, which they're using as like a weapons testing facility.
Okay.
And there's like senators and generals and stuff there, right? And the next weapon they're going to test is like this non-lethal. I'm using air quotes.
Yes.
Sonic cannon, right?
Right.
And like, there's this lady senator there, and she's like, and Judd Nelson comes up to her and he's like, you think you like our weapons? You think they're real impressive? You think we can crank them right up. We'll pump them right up. What do you reckon about that? And she's like, oh yeah. And he gets the Sonic cannon. There's like there's a switch on it.
Right.
But it's like
it says right up on it.
Yeah, it's like a DJ mixer, like a volume control. It's just a slider, and it's got like.
Sounds really loose. Like he could easily.
It's really
knock that.
loose. Like it's not even a clicky. It's one of the ones that just goes up and down. So he's like, I've got this one, and he cranks it up like real high.
Yeah.
And Shaquille O'Neal sees him. He's about to fire it on, super high, and he's like, no, and he leaps for him, but then he fires the gun. Instead of like knocking a door down, it like blows a whole building up, and then the shockwave reverberates back and it like blows out the wall of the building they're in, and it like crushes the senator to death, and it like crushes Sparky's legs, like it crushes on her, and Shaquille's like, no, and he lifts this like concrete wall up. In the Steel comic book, Steel's armor is like a mechanized suit. It's like a power
it's like an
armor.
Iron Man kind of thing. Yeah.
But in this, it's just a suit of armor. It's like a
knight would wear,
like a medieval,
or a dumbass in the modern day.
Like a dumbass, exactly. But in this, it's just implied he has superhuman strength.
Right.
So he's just lifting this gigantic slab of concrete. We very quickly go to like a court-martialing scene, and the judge is like, Judd Nelson, you killed so many people. You can't be in the army anymore. right? And so he goes, and Sparky goes to hospital. Then Shaquille O'Neal's like, I'm out of the army. I'm not doing this anymore, General. I'm quitting this. And the General's like, all right, off you go.
Is he going to go and like go to the streets and teach kids how to whatever?
Well, he goes back to LA,
right,
where his grandmother lives.
That's nice.
Simultaneously, Judd Nelson is also going back.
Is he angry at Judd Nelson? He's like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, he is.
You killed that senator we didn't know.
Yeah, there's a scene like in the after the court martial, and they have some words.
What's the height difference like there?
Oh, it's significant. It's significant. Judd Nelson's standing on a box, and it's still significant.
Right.
And he shows up back in his neighborhood. He shows up, and there's like this kid called it's Martin. So this little kid called Martin. But anyway, he's played by Ray.
Is he a good kid?
He's a good kid.
Good.
But maybe he could get in a little trouble later.
Right.
But maybe he could sort of do that, but he's not really in the movie. So if I forget that he's in it and I don't mention him for the rest of this thing, it doesn't matter.
Gotcha.
Anyway, he's played by Ray J, who you might know from having sex with Kim Kardashian in that video.
Right, yeah, that is something that I do know.
Anyway, Shaquille O'Neal shows up at his grandma's house. His grandmother has a delightful subplot where she keeps trying to make a souffle and it keeps collapsing on her. Like through the whole movie. It happens multiple times in this movie.
Right, did she make the perfect souffle? I don't want to jump ahead.
Spoiler alert, she does.
Great.
And everybody bloody loves it. In the denouement, which is the bit after the last bit.
I know what a denouement is.
Okay, good. So he's taken the bus. He's taken the bus to LA, but Judd Nelson's taken a first-class flight to LA. And he shows up to the most 90s man there is. He's got this massive double-breasted like beige suit, and he's got this greasy blonde mullet. And he shows up and he's like, "Hey, old friend, how about we make some weapons and we sell them together?" And this guy's like, "Hey man, I'm just a guy that makes arcade games. Don't put that on me, man." And then he's like, no, I know what's up, right? And so they go down in the basement where he's distributing arcade games, but what he's also doing is putting like machine guns and rocket launchers and stuff
in the cabinets.
In the cabinets, and then
to smuggle them, or they weaponized arcade cabinets?
Oh no, to smuggle them.
Okay, right.
But which is odd because like they're not like packing them in like bubble wrap or whatever.
Yeah. They're
just sort of hanging them loosely in there. There's like, he puts like an M16, he's just hanging it by the strap, and then he just closes the door.
That'll do it.
That'll do it, exactly. And then he's like, okay, well, here's some plans for these weapons. We're going to get them out onto the streets kind of thing.
Right.
Right. So anyway, Shaq catches up with his family friend who's a lady cop. As they're doing this ride-along, they see...
Has he got his head out the top of the car like a giraffe?
Yeah.
He's an enormous man.
Oh boy.
Anyway, sorry, continue.
No, please. But then they see this robbery happen. Basically, what happens is this Hummer drives up to near a bank, and then the sonic cannon comes out and just sort of blows out the whole front facade of the bank. And then somebody puts like a rifle out and then like lasers through the bank, because they've already blown up the front of the bank.
Sure.
So they just laser
like a hole
through the bank vault. And then they all just charge in and like start robbing the bank.
This is all non-lethal, I assume.
Yeah, except for the lasers and the blowing up of everything. Yeah, exactly right. They all, grab the money and take off, except for one guy who's just merrily just in there, just stealing more money out of the bank kind of thing, right?
So they're all leaving and he's like, I got time.
Yeah, I got more stuff to do. Anyway, he leaves last, and then Shaq chases after him in what I consider the slowest action sequence of all time. Because imagine, here's the thing, this is something I didn't think of until right at the end. Shaquille O'Neal is like 7'2".
Yeah.
There's no 7'2" stuntman.
No.
So he has to do all this himself. So he's just sort of
an athlete,
ambling.
isn't he?
Yeah, I guess, but
Well,
he's
not
like
the fastest on foot, is he? Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Oh, that's the thing I forgot to say. The thing that I forgot to say about earlier, why I was on board with this movie earlier, is when he arrives in the neighborhood first, one of the kids, like he goes past a basketball court, and one of the kids throws him a basketball, and he's like, hey, get in there, throw the basketball, and he's like, sure, no problem, kid, and he throws the free throw and he misses by a lot. And I'm like, all right, he's got a sense of humor about himself. Okay, that's pretty good.
Well, he played a rapping genie. I think
that's true.
He's pretty easy going.
Yeah, all right, yeah.
You got to listen to my rap from bell to bell. Those babies had rabies, and we was in Hades because we moved with the harem of the Prince of Aquitaine.
Where were we? I've forgotten. Oh yeah, so he chases him through this rail yard.
Yeah.
Again, there's some superhuman strength. At one point, he just rips like the door out of the gate out of a chain link fence, just chucks it
like it's nothing.
Yeah, but anyway, they're going through this rail yard as all the trains.
I
are
liken this
shunting.
to a much worse version of the chase from Casino Royale at the start.
Oh, it absolutely is. Yeah. Oh yeah. So he chases a guy. He doesn't get any info out of him.
But he knows. He's like, I recognize those weapons.
Yeah, and there's a brief thing happens in a bar where he confronts the gang and they're like, you get out of here, man. We'll shoot you because you're not an indestructible man in an iron suit. So we could just shoot you here. And then he leaves. And then what he does is he's like, well, I've got to be on equal footing with these gangs.
I've got to be smart about this.
Figure out what's going on. And then he calls up the general and he's like, hey, general, there are these guys, they're using our weapons or whatever. And the general's like, you're crazy, Shaq. What would you... And he's like, no, seriously, it's these guns that I built. The copies. And he's like, no, you don't know what you... Anyway, you're on your own, mate. I don't know what you... And then Shaq just smashes the phone box, which I feel is a very, very 90s thing.
Oh, it's a public phone.
It's a public phone.
Okay, right.
But like, it's not like he's a kid going like, "There's ghosts in the house." He's like, you know how I'm a professional weapons designer and I built these unique weapons that you can't get anywhere
else. And you
else.
know that about me.
Anyway, he's like, but I'm going to build these weapons. I got to get on equal footing with these guys. So I've got to put the team back together, right? So he goes to the hospital where Sparky is,
right?
And she's in a wheelchair and she's just staring out like forlornly out the window, and she's like, "Oh, I can't."
She's lost her Sparky.
Yeah, I don't want to get out of there. And then Shaquille's like, "What are you gonna look at these dirty windows all day?
You dumbass!"
Not happening." And he just smashes the windows out of this recuperation hospital.
This guy's just breaking public property.
And then he's like,
brazen.
"I'm getting you out of here, and we're gonna do this." And so he just lifts her up via the wheel. She's in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
He just lifts her up via the wheelchair and like marches her out of the hospital. And the whole thing.
Has Shaq never seen a wheelchair? Does he think wheelchairs are regular chairs?
Maybe he knows what a wheelchair is, but he doesn't know you can switch the brakes.
Right.
But, and then so he's taking her out of there, and the whole crowd are like, everybody else in the hospital is like, "Woo, yeah!" Like this was meant for the final scene, because it's kind of that. It feels like part of a romantic comedy where you like you carry
the officer and a gentleman.
Yeah, but it's in the wrong spot, and she's like, "Stop doing this, please." So he takes her to the perfect place for her to recuperate and then for them to work on their teamwork, a junkyard.
Of course.
And it's a junkyard run by Richard Roundtree, Shaft.
Yes.
He's in here.
I love it.
Yeah, he's in this as well.
Well, I'll be dipped in shit and rolling breadcrumbs.
Then they set to work building like there's a montage. There's a multi-purpose montage, and so he builds this. Shaq builds the suit. Oh, and there's a moment where she falls out of her chair,
right?
But then she gets back up on her own.
Good,
it's very moving.
Getting it together.
They're both Uncle Joe and Shaq are just like, no, we won't.
Yeah, should we help?
Nah, should we?
The only way she'll learn.
Only way she'll learn. Yeah, exactly. Caravan of Garbage will be back after this sponsor message from our mates. This series of Caravan of Garbage is brought to you by Loot Crate, the monthly subscription box of geek items and things. Yeah, here's one I'm going to recommend. Loot Crate DX.
Interesting.
Which is the crate of premium exclusive items every month. 4 to 6 items for the pop culture connoisseur. That's me, a fancy man, a fancy Dan. $100 plus of retail value, lifestyle gear, premium apparel, exclusive collectibles.
Correct.
You can go to lootcrate.com/weeklyplanet. You get $3 off any box.
That's a promise from me to you, from both of us to you.
Yeah.
Both of us promising
to both
things.
of you, both of the people listening to this. That's our promise. Anyway, he builds the suit, and she builds the steel hammer.
Oh, he does have the hammer.
He does have the hammer.
Great.
So and then they're like, okay, let's take this out for a test run. They go out at night, and there's a very well-to-do couple that have come out of the opera presumably, and there's like a guy with a mullet and a knife.
They got a kid with him?
No, they don't.
It's not.
No, you. Oh boy.
Yeah.
That'd be good if that was in canon.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, he's like, give me all your money or whatever. Shaq comes out in the steel armor and he's like, that's bad manners in this town. How about this?
Bad manners in any town.
And you see him in the armor and he looks ridiculous.
I know the mask is very ill-fitting.
It's not that the design is bad.
Yeah.
It's that the proportions are bad.
Right.
And that's Shaq's fault, ultimately, for being a monster of a man. Compared to his legs, he's got quite narrow shoulders.
Right.
It needs a cape. Because he looks kind of...
Like a box? Like a fridge?
No, not even like a fridge. Like a
triangle.
Like a triangle. Like he narrows towards the top. Anyway, so he gets the guy can't knife him, whatever. So he gets the
The guy tries to knife him.
I can't remember. Anyway.
Irrelevant.
Yeah. So and he gets the wallet and he lumbers back to the couple that have been robbed, and he's like, here you go. And they're like, oh, that was very nice of you, kind of thing.
They're not scared of Shaq. They're not like, what?
No, they should be.
Yeah.
Because he's terrifying.
Yeah.
Anyway, but then the cops show up and he's like, oh, gotta get out of here, kind of thing.
And he slowly lumbers away.
He lumbers for a while. Then he's like, okay, I gotta get away. But he's got a grappling hook gun.
Yes.
Like he's got a grappling hook.
Of course he does.
Can't fly.
Right.
Disappointing.
Yeah, he needs his bloody jet boots, doesn't he?
Exactly.
Wow.
But anyway, grappling hooks up to the rooftops. He gets to his steel motorcycle, and then he leads the cops on a merry chase. He goes back. There's a flip up pile of junk.
Oh, I see.
That he can drive into that, and then the flips down, and then the police helicopters can't find him. And Sparky helps out. She can change the traffic lights, so he gets a good run on the traffic lights.
She's his oracle, basically.
Yeah. She's got a rangefinder in the armor, so she can go, don't leap across that building because it's too far, and he does it anyway.
You're incredibly slow.
Yeah.
That's a jump you'll never make.
Exactly. He's weighing 400 pounds in the suit.
Oh my god. And that's unassisted.
Yeah, right.
Like it's not mechanized.
It's not powered, exactly. Yeah.
That would encumber him, if anything.
You know it, right?
Yeah, I do know it.
So the next night, this gang of robbers who have been given these weapons by Judd Nelson.
Yeah, he's trouble.
They're like, okay, now it's time to rob the Los Angeles Federal Reserve. They rob the place. Steel shows up again. They shoot down a helicopter. They blow up some trucks.
How's that look?
Yeah, the blowing up the helicopter looks pretty good.
Great.
Steel saves the life of a Die Hard style cop who's surprised at everything. You know, there's always one. You know, the guy, he's the Family Matters guy.
Yeah, I know.
It's not the exact Family Matters guy, but it's
close enough.
It's who they could get.
Right,
anyway,
sure.
he pushes him out of the exploding helicopter. The exploding helicopter looks pretty good. Like, it's a solid, I don't know how they did it, but it's pretty great.
Wait for the Blu-ray.
So they escape. He's like, ooh. Anyway, so Steele's like, oh, we'll get him next time. Dumps the armor or whatever. And he goes back to his grandma's house. She's still making the souffle. It's
How's
still
that
not
going?
working.
It's not the moment? It's not the moment?
It's not going well. And then somebody in a black outfit just crashes through a window. Just smashes through. And then it turns out it's the cops who are just smashing through windows now, apparently.
Because they think he did the helicopter stuff.
Well, yeah, because they're like, look, there's all this stuff blowing up and all these weapons, and there's a 7-foot tall man in an iron suit, and you're literally the only 7-foot tall man in this city, so we think it's you. So then Steele is sent to jail, right?
Yep.
And then they put him in the police lineup, and then they bring in the cop.
Yeah.
Who he's saved from the helicopter, and they're like, who is it? And he's like, he's wearing a mask. I don't know.
Who's to say? So no witnesses.
That being said, yeah, you can see most of his face.
Right.
There's a point earlier in the film that I forgot about where there's some gangbangers and they've got machine guns shooting out of the car, and he's just like, ha 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 ha, nothing's gonna hurt me. And I'm like, your hands aren't covered, your face
very exposed.
All the joins, what are they made of? You know what I mean? Like, in a modern day movie, like the person in his earpiece would have gone, cover your mouth.
Idiot.
Because you'll be killed otherwise. So he's still in jail, but then Sparky helps out because she uses her hacking skills to like forge the mayor's signature and like fake the mayor's voice print in a phone call. Okay. And then she faxes over a release. Right. On the fax.
I was like, how are they okay.
And then he's like, I'm out of here, right?
Yeah.
So Steele's like, he's gonna sell these weapons. We know this. We know Judd Nelson. We know he's gonna sell them. How's he gonna do it? And Sparky's like, he's gonna do it through the internet.
Yes!
Because it's the 90s and nobody understood what the internet was, right? And so she's presumably hacked the internet. I took a screen grab of it. She's found like that there's going to be an auction of all these weapons, and it's just like, sale starts in 11 hours, and then just pictures of these weapons, and it says like, own the most powerful weapon on earth. Something, can't read it.
It looks like something somebody's made in Word and then screenshotted and then put on the net.
To find out how to get yours, keep watching this page, right? And then, so there's a period of time something happens, I can't remember. Maybe the kid's involved or the grandma. It doesn't matter. Sure. Who cares?
Souffle shenanigans.
Right. And then it's like, it's going to happen at this like it pops up. It's going to happen at this warehouse. And at this point, like in a modern movie, you'd be like, you just call the cops.
That's what I would do.
But this is the world where nobody understands how the internet works.
And the cops don't like Shaq. They don't like what he's about.
Cops don't like Shaq. They don't have the internet. Yeah. Because it's 1997 and like 2 people had the internet. So Shaq's like, I'll handle this, right? And so he shows up at the warehouse.
I was hoping you would.
Yeah, exactly. And then one of the bad guys there, and he like sonic cannons Shaq. And Shaq like is hit and he flies into the warehouse and he lands like on the podium where Judd Nelson is like auctioning off these weapons. And he's like, Shaq, I've got you.
So Shaq's not like, my organs are scrambled.
No, he's
What
fine.
kind of metal is this? We didn't really get into that.
Steel.
Of course.
Yeah, I think it's implied. Judd Nelson grabs his hammer and he's like, I've got you. I've got all your weapons, Steel. You can't.
Okay.
And it's got, and I should mention this, because it's gonna come up. It's got like an electromagnet in it, and he's like, I'm gonna auction off all these weapons. I'm gonna kill you, and also I've got Sparky. I've got her. She's here too.
Oh no!
I've kidnapped her.
They probably traced her through the internet.
Exactly. I've got her and that kid from earlier. that I mentioned.
No.
Got him. I've got all of them. So then Steele's like, your weapons haven't got nothing on my weapons.
Right.
Mine's better than yours. And Judd Nelson's like, no, it isn't. Shaq's like, no, it is. Hold it, crack it open and have a look. And he's like, oh, okay. And he's looking at it. And he's like, but whatever you do, don't push the red switch on there. Because it's too powerful.
Even for you.
And you know you like things that are too powerful. That's what got us in this mess in the first place. But don't do it because it's too powerful if you push that button.
And Judd Nelson, not being an idiot, does not press the button.
No, he's like, I'll show you, Steele. And he pushes the thing and it activates the electromagnet.
Nice.
And then Steele's got he's got his hammer back.
Yes.
He's like, now I'm going to get you. And Sparky's like, now I'm bloody get you as well because she's built all sorts of guns into her wheelchair, right? She's got the fireball gun. She's got the laser. She's got the sonic.
3 guns.
She's got like there's all sorts of blasting or whatever.
Yeah.
And then at one point, Steele and Ray J they try and go to escape, and one of the henchmen like throws a hand grenade like into the door, and then he closes the door, so they're trapped in this room.
Right.
And there's a hand grenade there. And Ray J picks up the grenade and goes, Steele, you gotta throw the grenade. You've gotta free throw the grenade, right? And there's some
Wait. Is this real? Is this part real?
This part is real. Okay. Maybe I've made some of this up, but maybe it's all real. But anyway, there's like a basketball hoops with like a hole in the chain link fence above them, and he's like, I don't know, I'm not very good at this. I choke up. Meanwhile, it's been like 30 seconds.
Right.
How long?
Well, they need that time because the audience is laughing raucously.
That's probably true. Like how long do you think the fuse on a grenade is?
It's like 6 seconds,
something like that, right?
I have no idea.
It's been like 30 seconds. They're like, whoa, they're hot potato with this grenade. And then Shaq's like, okay, and he throws the grenade through. Like, it's not nothing but net.
Oh, right.
There's some net.
But it still goes.
Yeah.
Okay, it's like the end of Teen Wolf.
Yeah, it's like Teen Wolf, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, that blows up. Then they're like, okay, we got it. And then Judd Nelson comes out and he's like, I'm going to kill you, Steele, or whatever. And then he shoots him with the laser, and the laser bounces off him.
Refraction.
Reflects off Steele, and it hits Judd Nelson right in his guts, and he goes flying into some oil drums, and they explode, and like part of the building explodes, and then like a truck explodes, and it all falls on him, and he's super dead. And they're like, yes, because it's classic 90s.
You can't have a villain be killed by the
hero, but he can kill himself.
Yeah.
So that's pretty great. Anyway, they all escape.
Yeah, no, this is a kid's movie.
Yeah, the good guys they all get out of here. Sparky jets her way out on a jet.
Can she fly or just jet real fast?
She can just jet real fast. It's real wonky looking.
That sounds
it's no good.
Very unsafe.
Yeah, anyway, he calls up the general using his voice translator and makes himself like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he's like,
wait.
Yes?
Like Arnold?
He's got a voice modulator that makes him sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
To what end?
It's just funny.
So, why don't you tell me who you are behind the mask?
Doesn't really matter now, does it?
I've accomplished all I wanted to.
It's just the audience laughing raucously. Okay. Yeah, and then he's like, and you'll never see me again or whatever, right? And he's like, okay, cool, good stuff. And then...
That's fine.
Yeah, we smash cut to the opening of Grandma's restaurant. She's opening a restaurant. It's a mix of African-American cooking and like cordon bleu French stuff.
Together at last, I say.
Together at last, and she's there and she's got the soufflés and they're real good.
Yes.
And then they're like, what do you think of this Steele character? And she's like, he's the best. He's my hero. If it was my grandson, I'd love him.
I'd be awful proud.
Yeah. And Steele's like, I'm proud of all of you as well, and I'm proud of you, Sparky. And she's like, well, what do you reckon about this? And she pushes a button on her wheelchair, and it sort of lifts her up, like mounts her up, like she's sort of standing up. So she's
fantastic.
So she's sort of at like Steele's height.
When you say Steele's height, you obviously mean like his balls.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, like shoulder height or whatever.
Right.
But she's standing up there and everybody's like, whoa, and they're like so close together.
Yep.
And then they hug, and it's not. There's no.
Well, sometimes people can just be friends. That's okay.
Yeah, I guess.
Is it what Steele wanted?
Yeah, seems that way.
Oh,
yeah. Anyway,
you can't have everything,
that's the end of the movie.
So, okay.
What have we learned here is the question.
Well, look, nothing, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
And this was also in the time when after the comic continued after this, they put the Superman S back on him.
They put the Superman S back on him, and they kind of made him much more of a like an intellectual,
Right.
and like a. And I thought
is he a construction worker in the...
yes, he is.
Right.
So he's a weapons designer turned construction worker. He's also a construction worker in this. I forgot to mention it. It doesn't matter.
I need to let you know that this was made on a budget of $16 million.
Yes.
And it made $1.7 million.
That's less.
That's significantly less,
Isn't
yes.
it though? Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Because this was that had all the classic 90s stuff.
That's a good question. Like, honestly, it's not... like, it's dumb,
Yeah.
but everything from this era is dumb.
Yeah, sure.
And it's not worse than Batman and Robin.
Right.
It just costs less money. I reckon it's just a marketing thing.
Right.
I reckon they were like, our big tentpole is Batman and Robin, who cares about anything else?
Okay, yeah, fair enough. But they both failed horribly and killed both of these franchises in unison.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, thank God DC have united and they're moving forward stronger than ever.
Isn't it though?
Don't you feel that way?
I feel that way.
Would you recommend this for anybody?
Maybe. Give it 5 minutes and see how you go.
I'm going to give it no minutes.
Okay then, great.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks, Mason. That was a great retelling of that movie that sucks.
Thank you.
It's good to be here. I'm at Mr. Sunday Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Wikipedia Brown on Twitter. Okay, grab that gem, you guys. Bye.
Bye.